cemeteries tell our stories of happiness or of sorrow, the era that we lived, and the reality of life's end. The Cave Hill Heritage Foundation is dedicated to preserving these stories for generations. My name is Gwen Mooney. I'm the president and CEO of Cave Hill Cemetery. So what are some of the stories of Cave Hill Cemetery? What do monuments really mean? And what are we doing to make sure that we are preserving the past for the future?
The value in having a monument is to let people know that you were once here on this earth, that it's the final place, it's a permanent stone or a permanent memorial there to mark where your remains are buried. The monument is for people that are the living. It's not for the person that's passed away. It's for the people that are living to come by, pay their respects.
My family has been in the funeral business since 1907, when my grandfather, A.D. Porter Sr., started the business. What influenced me to go to Cave Hill, to be wanting to be buried in Cave Hill, was through my business entering into Cave Hill, burying other people, and reading the monuments and seeing how well the cemetery was cared for.
I think the Heritage Foundation here at Cave Hill does an excellent job in looking at the conditions of an older monument or marker, keeping it clean if it needs to be done. A lot of times a family member is not available to see that things like this are done. And you don't want things like this to be a liability to the cemetery. You want things to be kept up and in a firm condition.
We have 9 children at home right now. They range in age from 17 down to 6 years old. 5 of them are our biological children, and 4 of them are adopted. Brittany has passed away in 2003. She was 17 when she was killed in an automobile accident. And she was an old soul in a young body. She really had a passion for connecting people to God and to just, a confidence and a hope in something greater than themselves and their immediate problems. And so when she passed, we wanted to really try to capture her heart to the best degree we could. And because she was always someone who had a child on her back or a child by hand, leading them somewhere, helping them in some way, in this sculpture we have Christ with his arms open and a smile on his face, which is something that's not typically depicted. But I can't imagine children ran gleefully to somebody who did not exude great joy. And we wanted to capture the love of a father and the love of our Heavenly Father. And I think this does that in some measure.
Danny was a person with strong faith in God. Was one of the most beautiful beings I have ever known. When she passed, the whole community showed that that's how they felt about her. It was pretty amazing. She was the most giving, loving person that I probably have ever known in my life. I thought when I was getting my monument made that I wanted something to show me reaching toward God for his help. The hands are duplicate, mean 2 things. Me reaching for God's help, and then me commending my spirit to him for his welcoming arms and hands. So, into his hands I commend my spirit, the last words of Jesus Christ, sticks with me and means awful lot.
People walking through the cemetery, they will see your name on a monument or marker and they'll go, I remember something about that person. Monuments and things, when you look at them, they trigger different emotions in people. And it's just something that, like I said, is a permanent reminder that you were here on this earth.
That's what a legacy is. It's something that carries on, it lives on, and it affects lives. The ripple effect of it goes on and on for years to come. When Brittany passed away, you find yourself dealing with things that you never had given thought to. We never had given thought to where we might bury our children. But it was very quickly determined in our minds that the most appropriate place would be Cave Hill. It's beautiful, it's historic, it's a spiritual place, it's a very special place.
You honor the deceased in Cave Hill, and that's not always the case in other cemeteries. The care is tremendously different for the better at Cave Hill than it is in any other place. And I wanted to be there because I wanted myself and my family to be cared for in the manner in which I saw coming into Cave Hill on business.
That's where I believe the Heritage Foundation steps in and does a good job in helping to maintain these monuments and markers where there might be a letter that might have chipped off, or it's eroding away, or it's extremely dirty and you can't read it anymore. And that's just one of the things that the Heritage Foundation does, you know, to help preserve the old monuments, and so that the future generations will know what went on back in those times.
One of the things I'm grateful to the Cave Hill Foundation for is the fact that they are so intentional in preserving the past for the future. I mean, it's critical when you think about it. How will we remember who we are if we don't know where we come from? How will we know what the future should look like if we don't build on the best of the past? And so to that end, whether it's in a monument or whether it's in the stories that are told through those monuments, I think that's really what is powerful about this.
When families that I serve here at A.D. Porter & Sons ask me to recommend a cemetery, Cave Hill is the only cemetery I can recommend.
This year, the Cave Hill Heritage Foundation completed the restoration of the historic Gaines Mausoleum in Section P. From tuck pointing, cleaning, and applying a sealant to protect the integrity of the marble and limestone composition, the mausoleum will now last for years to come. Here's a glimpse of the before, during, and after restoration process, so you can see how we are vested in preserving the monumental heritage of Cave Hill Cemetery. On behalf of the Cave Hill Cemetery's Board of Directors, we would like to thank you for your support of the Cave Hill Heritage Foundation this year.